Welcome to the Hammer and Chisel Finance Program. First off, I want to say congratulations. You've decided to kill your debt, raise your credit scores, and grow your assets. So, thank you for choosing the Hammer and Chisel Finance Program. We know there are a lot of things out there vying for your attention and time. With that said, let's get started immediately. We'll go through the following lessons, such as the Hammer and Chisel payment, how the Hammer payment works, how the Chisel payment works, customizing your Hammer and Chisel payments, allocating your Hammer and Chisel payments between accounts, case studies, personal finance tips, increasing your income and decreasing your expenses. So let's start off with the introduction. What is the Hammer and Chisel payment method? So the hammer and chisel payment method is a great system that limits overspending. It pays off minimum payments on time by at least 100% or more, cuts down higher credit card balances and student loans, and also grows savings and other assets at a constant rate. Um, so with this payment method, I've never missed a payment in the last 7 years. I paid off over $20,000 in credit card debt. I've boosted my credit score to 777, and it's only going to keep rising from there because I'm not missing any payments. And again, I'm continuing to grow my savings and assets with constant incremental payments over time. So, so yeah, the hammer and chisel payment method smashes debt at a fast and constant rate, and that means you pay less interest, you pay off your debts early, improve your credit score, and free up more cash to save and invest. So I'll show you how it works, and we'll start with the hammer payment. So lesson one, how the hammer payment works. So a hammer payment is when you tax yourself a percentage of all earned income. For every dollar you make, you must tax yourself a percentage and use it to pay off debt and grow your assets. And then but now I know what you're gonna say is like, well, Kwaku, I already get taxed by the government. Why should I tax myself for every dollar I earn? It's bad enough the money I worked so hard to earn was already spent by Uncle Sam. And yeah, it sucks. But honestly, I think taxes are great. They benefit our country, they contribute to society, and they take care of us. They touch every aspect of our lives in this country. So when you look at your paycheck, right, Uncle Sam already took a cut of your money that's broken up into two categories, like your deductions, right? So your deductions are broken into the Federal Insurance Contribution Act, which FICA, and then the federal income tax. So the Federal Insurance Contribution Act is designed for the elderly and helps pay for retirement and medical programs. All right. And the federal income tax is a rate at which your earnings are taxed depending on your taxable income bracket or how much you earn, right? So depending on your taxable income bracket or how much you earn, 43.5% goes to FICA, Social Security, and Medicare, so your grandparents can be, well taken care of. And then 56.5% goes to the federal income tax, which is allocated across health programs, which includes Medicaid and CHIP, so you're having good insurance programs. And health programs are taxed at 15.5%. And then defense and security, so we protect and those enlisted in the Army, 13.2% of your tax paycheck goes to defense and security. The national debt that the government borrows is at 7.9% plus interest. Yeah. And then unemployment and labor is at 4.2%. And then veterans benefits to support those that serve for us at 3.4%. And then 2.5% goes to food and agriculture, 2.4% goes to government operations, 1.8% goes to public transportation services, and then 1.6% goes to education. Wow. And then 1.2% goes to housing and community, 0.9% goes to energy and the environment. So much for climate change. And then 0.7% goes to international affairs. And all the way at the bottom is science, research, and development at 0.6%. So now, which is really interesting. So if you're unhappy with that breakdown, right, remember those allocations aren't set in stone by the government. You can always call your local and federal representatives, national lobby groups, and make your case for how the government should spend our taxpayer money. But honestly, I wouldn't bet on the government, because you have to realize government spending and allocation can't please everyone. Okay, especially when you hear things like the government issued less than $6 billion in refunds in 2019, and then Amazon paid zero taxes after making over $11 billion in 2018. $800 million of our taxpayer money went to private prisons where prisoners work under inhumane conditions or for pennies or less. On top of that, the constant bickering between political parties over the allocation of taxpayer funds is always an issue. So it became apparent to me, and it should become apparent to you, that you need to save your own money for your own benefit and serve your own causes that matter to you. And that is why you need to tax yourself for yourself. You need to start paying off debt. You need to start saving and investing because that's how you can track your money and keep a portion for yourself, your goals, and the causes that matter to you. So that's why I came up with the hammer payment, right? So for every dollar I earn, I have to take a percentage and use it to pay off liabilities and grow my assets. Now, this way, I control my money and I know what I want to do with it. So the earlier you pay off stuff, the less interest you pay, the sooner you start saving, the more you have in the future for other investments. And that's one less thing you can worry about. Okay. In this case, fast is better than slow. So don't wait. So don't wait, right? Start paying off your debts now. Start saving now. So are you ready to see how the hammer payment works? Good. Let me show you how it works, starting with one of my real life examples, using me as an example. So after I signed up for the revised estimate pay as you earn, the repay program on my student loans, I had to pay $85 a month in student loans. Now, $85.08 really cuts into my bank account and my morale psychologically, right? Has It's just a payment that kind of annoys me. So my student loans are always due on the 18th of the month, and the 18th was a day I always dreaded. The student loan felt like some huge monster ready to slash and rip my bank account up. Sometimes I'd be late with my payments or go too crazy with my money, and I'd go too crazy with my money, and then I pay it, and I just have to scrimp to the next payday, or when I had to make money. But that's when I came up with the hammer payment, and the whole idea is, what if you could obliterate and smash the monsters before they came and eat up your bank account, right? What if you could set aside a money trap that catches that that student loans, that monster of a student loan payment. So because a monster charging you at full speed is not as scary as a monster that's been cut in half or more. Especially when you strike first, early, and fast. You know what I'm saying? So sure, it's still dragging its bloody torso towards you, but it's slower, and it just becomes an easier target to kill. And that's what I started doing with my student loan payments. So let's say today is April 3rd, right? On the 18th, I will have to pay $85.08 on my student loans. But luckily for me, I just happened to make $350 for my tax returns, right? Today, that's $350 came in today. Uh, so good old income. I love it. Don't you love it? Everyone loves income. So any money that comes to you is income, obviously. But the thing is, you must tax yourself a percentage on every dollar you earn and every money that comes in. So since a hammer payment is when you tax yourself a percentage of all earned income, I tax myself 20 cents on the dollar. So for every dollar I make, I tax myself 20 cents. So 350 times 20%, so 20% of 350 is 70 $70, right? And you know what I'm going to do with that $70? Yep, I'm going to make an imminent strike on my student loans of $85.08, way before the due date. So $85.08 minus $70 equals $15.08. Boom. That's a payment that I made today on my student loans. Guess what? On April 18th, you only have to pay $15.08, and you still have $280 left over for whatever you need, right? So now I hope you're not fussing over that $70. It was for a good cause. It was for paying off debt early, fast, right? Besides, as long as you have a reliable income coming in, you're fine. So we use the hammer payment and cut a big chunk out of that monster. And guess what? We never stop smashing that hammer, you know? So on the next day, let's assume it's payday. You've just earned some money and your net payment is $1,378.18. What do? We tax ourselves 20% and use that to destroy what's left of your monstrous student loan. So 20% of your net pay is $275.64. So now, after you take that hammer payment of $275.64 and pay that towards your student monthly payment. So $15.08, which we have left to pay on the 18th, minus $275.64 equals student monthly payment destroyed. Now, look at that. I overpaid my monthly payment by a total of $345.64. So we abolished the monthly payment by 424%. And we paid for the 18th of April, May, June, July in full. And we got a little head start in August, right? So now let's say you have a student loan balance of $7,893.89. Since you've already made $345.64 in student loan payments, you now have $7,548.25 left to pay off. So sure, you've only paid off 4.39% of the total balance. It may feel like a drop in the ocean, but an ocean is nothing but drops of water. So, and that's how the hammer payment works. I love it because it's a great psychological shift. It feels good to know that I can set aside money to pay off my debt early, get a jump start on it, and have the rest of the money to do what I want guilt free. And that even when the due date comes, I only have to pay this much left as opposed to what the payment was in full. So it's a great payment method. It's also a great psychological shift. It makes paying debts off easier. So in the next lesson, we'll talk about chisel payments, and I'll see you in lesson 2. Peace.